Hi, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris. It is the 4th of February, 2024. It is, believe it or not, show 98. It's open mic night tonight. We've got the mic open right now, and we're going to let people talk, and we're going to come up with topics. It's storming horribly here right now in Lodi, and it's 57 degrees, and the wind is making me feel like I'm in the car wash blow dryer section. I see Steve over there. And so tonight's open mic. It's our Sunday call. The opinions of the people on this call are that of their own and not that of DJ Chris or Targeted West. We're a nonviolent work group, and we are here to learn about telepathy and dreams and gang stalking, cause stalking, Havana syndrome, and such. So I'm glad to see you're here. You'll be able to watch this on BitChute, listen to it on Spotify, or see it archived on archive.org or on YouTube and BitChute, of course. My name's DJ Chris. It's open night, and the first topic is the Neuralink first human trials. The first human has been installed with the Neuralink BCI circle that goes in the back of your scalp, and they wire in the copper electrodes all over your brain, and it's been successfully done to a human. It's all over the news, and people are talking about how it's probably not true that they were successful at it. They may have done the operation, but it may not work. So we'll find out. And, you know, Elon Musk is full of BS. And so he's probably making a lot of this up, but it's still scary anyway. So what do you think? Neuralink now has a human test subject. Is it someone that's a paraplegic? I assume that's what this person is. And they're trying to get his movement back. What do you think?
I think it's unique that the New Hampshire and Colorado passed those bills or put them into legislation for neural rights. It's the same week Elon Musk introduces Neuralink.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And that's the second topic, is the Colorado Neural Rights Bill. I put it right underneath, so you're right. There's Scotty boy. So what's up, everybody? It's Sunday. The storm's happening. We've got Neuralink drilling holes in our head. Did you know that with Neuralink and all of the BCI technologies, that they only last for a few years in your head? You have to have that all pulled out and rewired, because proteins in your body itself resists those wires and puts a coating on it, and then become ineffective. So it's kind of like those tooth implants are not permanent. Want to talk about it?
Yeah, your body might create illness with something like that. You know, to create always.
It does autoimmune. It rejects it, and it creates a coating over it, and makes the electrodes ineffective after a few years. So what good is it anyway?
Maybe it's like that.
We got many cent. You got a call every night after hours.
Oh yeah, every night. Yeah.
That is so cool. I'm glad to hear you're
hearing
that. I know, but it's
well, today I feel like it's a headache, but most of the time I feel it's great. I'm happy that people come to the call to share the headache. The headache that is my life with each other. We each of us have a headache about our lives.
I think Frank's feeling better. He said he was, Huggy. He just literally sent me a text less than 6 minutes ago. So he's home. And Minnie keeps the overnight calls light in spirit. That is correct.
Yeah, well, that's the only way I could do it. I mean, if it was heavy call, we had guests and everything, I think people would run for the hills. So
we want to make sure you have a happy ending.
That's right, Steve. It's always about that. I have no comments.
At first it started as a lousy beginning and ended up as a happy ending. My marriage, 24 years. She left me for a shoe salesman.
Who's more Jewish, you or me?
I don't know who's the more... You make me Jewish when I talk to you. It's weird.
I make you. I force you.
You make me Jewish.
I'm manipulating
Well, it's because
you.
my friend Jimmy Matzo Ball Hubert and I used to kibitz all the time when we get nudgy.
No, it's not kibitz. It's
Kibitz.
It's kibitz. It's
Kibitz? Kibbles and bits?
No. Kibitz. It's more of the first.
So Jimmy Matzo Ball Hubert said it wrong all this time?
Yeah. It can happen. Yeah.
Went to temple. I thought they would have like lessons on how to say the words, but
No. There's no Yiddish lesson.
maybe the Goya is doing it wrong. I think it's a user error on my end.
Yeah.
It's a user error on my end. What do I know? I'm a little Mormon kid that's a microphone in front of his face trying to impress people. But anyway, hello.
Okay.
It's open mic. You want to talk about the Neuralink first human trials? What do you think, Minnie? Do you think that's going to reject in the body? I do.
Well, I reject it, so. So I'm assuming that the body rejects it too. Just the idea of you just said.
If you were in a world of the future, Minnie,
yeah.
and you couldn't get a job unless you were enhanced and had that chip, would you do it?
Oh. No. I would try to leave the planet if I could. I mean, if there's all kinds of possibilities, I would try. If Mars was still had become habitable, I think I would go there. We'd start fresh. But no, I don't know. That's a tough question, but I would say no. Because I've done that before, where it was like, you can take the job, but it's a terrible job, and I'll be. I don't last. Even if I say yes to this kind of thing, the minute they'll start saying something like, well, you may stop being able to use your arms and legs, it might happen, and I'm like, okay, well, that's it for me,
Or they put your arms and legs on a subscription service that you pay a monthly fee to have work.
Yeah, only $2.99 a month to use your arms and legs.
Each finger's $5 a month, right?
Fingers, yeah, that's extra. That's extra, like avocado,
That's right. Oh, we're going to go to Chipotle soon, by the way. I wonder what that's like. Have you been there?
We don't have that in Canada, but we have thousands of these chains of Mexican restaurants that sound like a Chipotle. So.
Okay, that's good enough. Well, I'm going to go there.
Yeah. And for only
I went in New York. What do you want to know about it? It's expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
I saw it. $12 for a damn burrito.
Yeah, the same thing like pasta. Like you can buy pasta for like $2 and maybe some sauce for another $2. But if you go to a restaurant and order a pasta dish, you're going to pay $35 or $40 plus tip plus tax.
I bought a pasta dish with shrimp for $2.99 at the grocery outlet. Frank didn't tell me how he's doing, but he said he's better. Whitey, hello, Whitey. Welcome to the call. Yeah, so it's laid back tonight. You're here with Targeted West in the book club. So the Neuralink first human trials have started. Colorado has a neural rights bill, like Scotty said, and we have one in Maine for directed energy weapons. So you've got two bills in the United States and the state Senate, I believe, going on at the same time. Is this going to be a wave of the future? Is every state going to have their own neural rights laws like Chile did originally? And is this going to happen state by state? Or is it still going to continue going on with the federal government contractors and such and the government military contractors? What do you think?
Well, it's part of the Constitution in Chile and Brazil. It's in their Constitution now, the neural rights laws. So Constitution, that's a big deal. Like we should.
That's a huge deal. That's crazy.
It should be in the Constitution.
Seth says in the House, ladies and gentlemen. One order of sushi for Setsa.
I was just
Yeah,
in Chile.
so come on in, yes. King
I was
Charles.
just in Chile, and they were reading my thoughts. So even though they passed a law, they continue to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say they can pass all the laws in the world, but that's not going to stop these evil beasts. Because they don't go by the law. They're breaking the law of humanity now, and they're going by the fact that there aren't a lot of neuroethics laws in this world. So they've got that advantage right now, but it's going to change. It just takes time. But does it make a difference to have a law? I mean, are they really going to go by the law? They aren't going by the law now.
Well, I was being stalked and followed by the Chilean police as I was walking in the city. So.
And you went to Chile thinking that you were going to get relief, right?
Yes, I thought at least from the neuromonitoring, but that didn't happen.
Was it? Oh, go ahead, Scott.
Did it work on the plane, the remote neural monitor, like a gem?
No, it was in the city.
No, when you took did you take the airplane to get there?
Well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, how's your symptoms on the plane?
I guess no different. I guess pretty good.
That's the one that always got me every time you fly, how well it works. I don't see anybody following me. Pretty unusual.
Probably satellites for
catch
that.
Somebody following my ass, so yeah.
Yeah.
They just attacked me at the airport and in the hotels, just like here.
So, do you think the Colorado Neural Rights Bill will expand? Whoa, hear that wind? Will expand to other states or not?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? You know, it's up to the politicians, right?
Doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know that law.
It's a conversation starter.
Sure, it sure is, and you know that law has to do with the devices you wear on your head. What they're going to do is get around that by saying that it's remote and it's not covered by this law. So they'll come up with some BS.
Well, they could amend the law. You know, the laws could be made more specific and language made more to address every type of thing. You know. So yeah, I think we have to influence.
I think my best guess in my pea-brain mind is that we use it by having calls and sending letters out and whatever we do, emails and such, faxes, get the word out, let people know, and that'll do it because that's how MK Ultra disappeared. Although this is MK Ultra 2, MK Ultra disappeared for a while, and then what will happen was you'll have MK Ultra 3 show up in the next generation. It'll start all over again. And what they're going to do is take all the data they glean from us and expand their program. But I don't want to be gloomy because we're going to expose them and they won't be able to do that. So, what do you think?
It's just hard for me to write a letter to Senator Murkowski here in Alaska because she's part of the deep state, you know. She's protecting these people, the developers, you know, the weapons. She's friends with them all.
And she probably gets funding from them, too.
A lot of military going on here in Alaska. So, yeah, I've met her before in a hotel. Classified information sitting on our hotel desk. That blew my mind. Highly classified. And it's a document sitting at the front desk, and I come in first thing for work.
Wow. Yeah, they're
You gonna
kind
leave it
of
around all
sloppy
these
these
idiots?
days. Sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Alaska tonight with the Nick Begich book, Angels Don't Play the Harp. So we'll be Alaska will be the talk of the town tonight.
I contributed to that harp project.
You did?
Yeah, I signed a contract not to talk about it. But it was just
wow.
ground freezing systems that the electronic units sit on top of on that tundra. So they don't sink, whatever, that's the foundation. Actually, I got killer hours, 712s for a long time there. A harp project. People are going on vacation after that one.
That's incredible information, Scott. I did not know that.
Yeah, and I have talked about it. Well, I'm supposed to, and I'm targeted. Yeah. I ran into a coworker. He lives back. We're in a different town now than that project, but he brought that up. He's kind of, he's heard some things about harp himself, so good.
Yeah, what's interesting is it causes human behavioral modification to be done. It actually modifies your behaviors by changing the ionosphere and such and heating it.
They got something going on in Hawaii, too.
Yeah.
A lot of people being messed with in Maui, Big Island.
Well, they have harps. There's harps all interconnected to each other all over the world. Matter of fact, the harp in Alaska has other harps, like 4 or 5 more harps that are connected to it. So they could, at the same time, all beam a direct beam at one object, all at the same time, and zap it out.
And that's not causing global warming?
Oh, well, it's causing global warming, and they're modifying the weather, of course. That's what the whole idea was. Eastland had the idea to do that, and they took Eastland's patents and started, ARCO took an APTI, took over after that, and then E-Systems took over after that, and then became Air Force, and woo. Anyway, it's Biden-Harris has a $28 million substance abuse disorder grant. Do you think they're going to be dragging people in off the street and finally getting them substance abuse care, or do you think they're going to go after the easy targets that come into the hospital with issues?
That being said, be weary of mental health ramping up as well. They're right along there with some.
Yeah,
substance abuse gets money, so does mental health. That means they'll take you in. They'll take you and put you in the asylum easier.
And put you in a guardianship.
Yeah, that New York mayor was pulling homeless people off the street and forcing them into mental health. So I'm not really
right. Yeah, because we have a housing problem. It's mental illness. So that's a good way to blame it. Oh, he's mentally ill. That's why no one can afford housing.
Yeah,
they did it in New Orleans too.
Yeah, in Canada too. They like that.
Oh my! This is a topic all of its own. Yes, that's amazing. But yeah, this Biden-Harris is spending $28 million to subsidize this behavior.
They clear out the tents under the bridges, and they get the homeless to apply.
That money will go right into this program, I'm sure.
Well, they have surveillance in that program where they keep an eye on you if you're a drug user and force you into treatment, so they'll follow you around.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, until your last breath.
Even in the Salvation Army systems.
Yeah, a lot of problems in the Salvation Army rehab system, I've heard. It's not fair, it's not just, and it's really bad, and a lot of crazy people in the program, because those states put you in that, or the judges, because that's the only thing they have available. There just isn't enough money for mental health services or anything, and there isn't enough housing.
They go through your stuff, and
that's terrible, Steve.
Hello? Anthony.
I have a little noise going somewhere here. Find you. Please, everybody, *6 and mute. Thank you. Anyway, topic is $28 million for substance abuse disorder grants. We're finding out now through the call that almost every city, even in Canada, are having these similar programs where they're forcing mental health services on the homeless. And one of them, the very first call I did was on the Care Court, which is a California system of putting you through court if you're homeless, and they force you to go to court if you're homeless and force you to go to mental health all through a judge, and you have to be assigned to a district attorney. Doesn't that sound odd that you're having to go to court? And how's a homeless person going to show up to all these court events and all these mental health evaluations? And you do know nothing ever gets done. They'll never get the therapy. This can be going to court all the time. And then they get the conservatorship put on them and have no rights left.
Well, it's not about therapy. They laugh. They laugh when you say, "I want therapy." It's just about pills and knocking you out all the time.
Well, the word therapist is the rapist, so
they can exploit the hell out of you.
Yeah, they can.
It doesn't make sense that if somebody is having trauma, that they're pulled in as if they're like a sick person and not listened to, and then violence and direct energy and all these things that happen in hospital, or attacking them and taking away everything from even their own thoughts. It's just constantly bothering them. I mean, how is that helpful? Nobody discusses this. I don't get it.
No, it doesn't make sense. It's not being solved. It's a bad topic. Next topic is the Brennan Center for Justice. Government fusion centers in the United States are violating Americans' rights. How do you feel about that? Fusion centers were started right after 9/11, and they were a way to connect the city, state, local, federal government, and the little joint task forces and subcommittees and subgroups and little police groups and big police groups all together in one place, because 9/11 was a systematic failure on intelligence, and so they decided to make fusion centers, and now instead of finding terrorists, they're gleaning almost everybody's data and putting together a list of people they deem as a domestic terrorist themselves, like we probably are listed as on the TSDB database, and they probably go by that. And they send people out on foot and in other ways online to harass you. And then they document everything too. And I'm sure they manipulate the data, but the fusion centers are not your friend. I don't know why we have them. Nothing's been solved through them. And they just keep getting funded every year. So what do you think about fusion center? Do we need them?
No, hi, Chris. It's Lily.
Hello, Lily Bell. Do we need the fusion centers?
I think the fusion centers are running a small percentage of the military boots on the ground folks. I think you're right about that. I didn't ever want to confirm it until I kind of got the proof of it. For me, I don't want to say proof, but proof for me enough that I'm willing to now say I agree that fusion centers are running the boots on the ground. And the difference is that they're CIA undercover. So what's happened is the fusion centers hire as they hire. The CIA sneaks in probably, let's just guess, like 5 out of the however many people that are employed there during the day. And they run secretly. It gets complicated, and I figured this out because I had an altercation. So about 2 months ago, I couldn't figure it out. So what happens is the boots on the ground have to be tightly monitored, and they have to, because there are really powerful rules with how they conduct boots on the ground, and that is in connection with the FBI. So what they do is the fusion centers have plants in them, just like sometimes hospitals do. That's how some people get chipped, is because there are dirty doctors who have normal careers but moonlight for the CIA. So fusion center operatives do the same thing. They moonlight for the CIA, but it's illegal, so they have to look like fusion center employees. So they plant, let's pretend it's 5 people per fusion center, and they each have a caseload. Now, they're going to have access to the computer mainframe, however it is that they do, and they're going to look like a typical employee at the fusion center, programming whatever they program, okay? Now, what's going to happen is because it has to be layered and compartmentalized, they're going to attach FBI secretly to maintain those illegal CIA operatives. They're black ops. So that's how it's structured. Now, here's where the part we're all baffled about. How is it that the PSYOPs groups, known as fusion center people, communicate with local cops? What's that real connection? And that's what I figured out. Now, I had an altercation, we'll just say with person A, okay, it was legitimate, and they should have been arrested, but because they're closely connected to being targeted, they weren't. And this is the part where I think we all really have to, this was the new information I wanted to bring to the community. What I've discovered, and now, you got to outthink the shell game, okay, the false flag game. The way it's structured is the PSYOPs undercover fusion center employee that's secretly a black ops CIA operative that does stuff to your property, that puts game pieces on your door, or screws with your mind by messing with your property. Those guys that stalk you, the real ones, okay? And they usually they work under the cover of night, so you're not going to see them that often, okay? So what they do is they work closely with the computer people, okay, and they go to the police, the real police.
Make up whatever you want.
They go to the real police and they say, hey, this family is under federal investigation, hands off. Now they will tell the police that, like, I run a drug cartel, or I'm under the watch of the feds. Some people will blame them for being, she runs a prostitution ring, she runs a drug cartel, her kids run drugs. I'm serious. This is why now what they'll do is, if depending on how smart those fusion center black ops are with us, they'll go to the real police and they will say, hey, hands off of them because they're under federal investigation. And if they get put now, they will ask them to stalk us too, to harass us. So they'll say, go harass these people. And then the cops go tweak, okay, what are they doing? I want to go surveil them, and they'll start harassing us. So that's how it's layered. Now, the cops don't know about the weapons, and they don't know that we're tortured. They just think they should target us because they think we're legitimately on the Fed list, okay? So we need to be watched carefully. So they have an interest too then. They're going to go, well, what are they running? They're running drugs, that kind of thing. That's how it works. It has to be something very close to that. So a lot of lies, a lot of layering, and then the fusion center black ops people will pose as InfraGard, and they'll flash a badge and say, to regular people, and then behind the scenes they're like, hey, I'm an agent, hands off these people. So that's how it works.
Thank you for explaining that. I will go ahead and switch back to open mic. And actually, I have a quick advertisement to play for someone. I don't see her here, but we will thank you, Lily, for that. We'll let you come in a few minutes here. Let me just go ahead and play this as soon as I find it.
Are you a targeted individual looking for support and connection? Look no further than TIEvents.org, the ultimate event site for targeted individuals worldwide. Discover a wide range of upcoming events from conferences and meetups to rallies and fundraisers. Connect with like-minded individuals, participate in informative conference calls, and explore a wealth of resources. Visit TIEvents.org today and join a thriving community of targeted individuals. Together, we can make a difference. TIEvents.org, empowering targeted individuals worldwide.
Thank you for that. TI Events has every call you want to go to. You literally can go there like I do every day and find a call. You want to look for a call in the afternoon or evening, it's all there in one place. And then you got many overnight. So I can beat that. So now we're switching to the book club. The book club is now of 122 members. If you'd like to join the book club, it's bookclubs.com/TIbookclub/join/. And we're discussing Dr. Nick Begich's book, Angels Don't Play This Harp. And we just had somebody in the call disclose that they actually worked on that project. And so that's amazing. Information, and we in the book club I have read almost 40% of the book. We have other people reading it too. It's been around since the 90s. It's not updated, so I don't know what the current status is of the HARP system. One of the things we're lacking about the book was a lack of mind control data aspects of it and how it controls emotions and behavior. He teased it a couple times, but I've never found anything in the book of much value in that aspect. So, I mean, I can't recommend it for V2K or anything, but as far as weather modification and using it for a war weapon and for also part of this, I didn't know this, but it was part of the Strategic Defense Initiative, which is part of the Star Wars of the 80s. I didn't know that the Gwen system was also put in the 80s, and that's also a part of it. So, and this is all in case we go to war and everything gets blown up, they can send signals back and forth to each other through the ground. So anyway, I got a quick little blurb here from Nick Begich, so sit back and enjoy a little film. We'll just go for a few minutes, and then we'll end at that. And of course, I'll skip the beginning, so you don't have to listen to it. It's just his book beginning. Here we go.
Hello, welcome to my home. I'm Dr. Nick Begich, and today's video that we're producing is HARP and beyond. It's been a long time since we've produced a video on HARP and really brought out the information in the context of where we are now in 2006 versus where we were when we first disclosed this story in the book Angels Don't Play This HARP back in 1995. So today's topic will deal with the various aspects of HARP and talk about what's happened since with some of the key players involved in that research, as well as the political implications and where this technology is going from here. First time that you've seen a video or gotten familiar with any of our work, so I want to give you a little bit of background on me. I'm Dr. Nick Begich. I have a doctorate in traditional and complementary medicines. I come from a political family here in Alaska. second generation of political involvement here. I also have a background in education, being twice elected president of the Alaska Federation of Teachers and the Anchorage Council of Education. I've written 3 books, co-authored with James Roderick and Gene Manning, and am presently the executive director of the Lay Foundation on Technologies, which is involved in researching and educating the public on technology issues. And currently it's providing us a great deal of the research base necessary to produce this video and much of our work into the future. Welcome to my library. I want to start with a little discussion of the Lay Institute on Technology, Inc., which was set up as a Texas nonprofit corporation primarily to educate the public on the impacts of technology. And as a result of that effort and my work with Dorothy Lay, the founder of that foundation, we're able to continue to archive and develop material that's useful for research projects like this and many others. In fact, all that material now is posted on the internet at www.layinstitute.org. And if you go there and you look at the site, there's an area called EPI Search, and that is our research index. And so if you go there, you can search any keyword. You can look up HAARP or climate change or radio or microwave or any of the words that are of interest to you, and you'll see every document that we've stored there on those archives available to the public in a way that makes it more useful in researching these issues. So take a look at that. It's useful in conjunction with this production today. But let's get back to the HAARP issue and where that issue began for me. HAARP started really with a very short segment, a little article actually in a magazine called Nexus, an Australian journal. I read the article, and it was about a project taking place here in Alaska called HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project. And at that time, it was being operated by the U.S. Navy and Air Force in developing what they called a developmental prototype for weapons applications of a very, very large radio frequency array or field of antennas located here in Alaska. And so, you know, what happened when I read that article is I looked at it and I thought, you know, Alaska is a big place geographically, but when you think about it politically, it's very small. We have a small population. You tend to hear about what's going on, and virtually nothing had been reported in our local media regarding this project. And I'm kind of a curious person, and the article was pretty outrageous in what it was claiming. So I went and looked at what was available, first by searching the sources that were cited in that article at our local library, LUSAC, which happens to be one of 78 libraries at that time in the country that were designated as federal repositories, places where any unclassified federal record are either stored or they have to produce it for you for free. So it's an incredible research library here in Anchorage, and as I said, 78 of them around the United States. As a result, we were able to verify all of the sources in that article. That got me pretty concerned. And I went next to talk to Trustees for Alaska, which is one of the larger sort of umbrella environmental groups in Alaska. And my thought was, you know, with the implications of this system, this group certainly had to be following the issue. And surprisingly, they weren't. In fact, they said the Audubon Society was looking at it. So I went over to the Audubon Society and talked to them. They had a very short file on the HAARP project, and basically what they were concerned about was the few hundred of acres of wetlands that were going to be disturbed, and they were concerned about the flyway, where birds, migratory birds, were coming across that particular region. But those were their only concerns. There were much, much bigger implications to HAARP. Discovering that virtually nobody was following the issue, it seemed like a very, very important issue to me. And so what I did is I sent a large amount of material, including the technical specifications for the array, to a friend of mine, a physicist, who had the background to take a look at whether or not the claims on this facility were actually real and whether it really was a threat. The conclusion that he and others made was that it was a very significant issue, one that needed some public attention, and they insisted that I write an article about the subject. And so that began, for me, a journey that's now lasted 11 years in dealing with this issue and those things that came out of it. But let's talk about what HAARP can do. As I said, it's an array, a field of antennas. And what it essentially started as was 48, 6 in one direction, 8 in another direction, and these are 72 feet tall with a cross diapole. So they're a column going up and then a cross diapole going like so. And by firing these antennae in a very specific order, you can focus the radio frequency energy, concentrate it to a relatively small area, up in an area above the Earth's surface called the ionosphere. And let me explain sort of where the ionosphere is. You've got to look about 30 miles above the Earth's surface for the very beginnings of the ionosphere, and then it stretches out perhaps as far as 400 kilometers out into space and even further in the upper reaches of the ionosphere. And it acts as an electrical shield, if you will, an energized area of our environment so that cosmic radiations coming in from the sun and from space hit this layer, and it acts as a filter, filtering out particle streams that would make a life on planet Earth impossible without this. Now, people talk about ozone depletion as a major issue, and it certainly is, and we'll cover that in another video in this series. But let's talk about a hole in the ionosphere, which would be significantly greater than any problem attributed to ozone depletion by comparison. Because of the kinds of radiation, it wouldn't be just ultraviolet radiation, as is the case with ozone. This would be very, very dangerous particle streams that would literally alter the genetic blueprint of the planet. So this is the area that the military is targeting as a research area in the developments of HAARP. And HAARP was originally invented by a guy named Dr. Bernard Eastland, and it was an original concept that he had, and he had had this idea that you could create a shielding effect. And let me talk a little bit about what kind of effect that might be. When you look at the ionosphere as this layer around the Earth, and then if you think of the Earth as also kind of a giant motor that's spinning around, and with that comes magnetic field lines. And these field lines go from the southern part of the poles all the way up, and they wrap around, they come back in at the northern polar regions. And in these polar regions, where those magnetic field lines interact with the atmosphere and oxygen and nitrogen, you get the aurora borealis, or the northern lights. Or in the southern hemisphere, you get the equivalent of our northern lights. And it's where this energy is interacting with the atmosphere. Well, by using these naturally occurring field lines, you can actually manipulate energy coming off the ground, coming off of a field of antennas like what HAARP has in Gokana, Alaska, which is just 250 miles northeast of Anchorage. This facility that was built in the early 1990s.
I think that's enough to have to be tortured with. So you get the idea. HAARP is a technology used by the military to heat up the ionosphere, but it really is used, one of the patents is for finding objects in space, so it's actually a shielding weapon, a Star Wars dome like the Israelis have the Iron Dome. That's kind of what it is, and it's using energy. Anyway, it's open mic. We played the video. We have one more advertisement to play, and then we're going to let the mic do its thing. Get the chat room going again. Just one little commercial left, and then we're all good. And I hope everyone's doing well. And I hope everyone's having a great evening.
Are you an adventure seeker or mystery solver? Well, your hunt is on. DJ Chris's targeted individual fiction series beckons. Journey through The Hills Have Ears, outwit danger in The Dark Cove, and expose secrets at The Faux Farm. Each book honors the spirit of its author's grandmother, the fearless Ida Pearl. Get ready for a series that's as enigmatic as it is thrilling. Will you unravel the legacy woven into these tales of suspense? Race to Amazon, Lulu, and Barnes & Noble to claim your copies. Dive into the intrigue one book at a time, or seize the complete targeted fictional trilogy set, now available at Audible for the full exhilarating experience. The clock's ticking, and Ida Pearl's adventures won't wait. Order now and be part of the legend.
So help a poor boy out and buy one of my books, please. I appreciate it. It helps fund the call. Anyway, it's all yours. Open mic. Talk amongst yourself. Oh, I see we have Target You. Sherry's here. Got a packed room.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, Sherry. Come on in. What's up? What do you have planned for your next call?
Oh, well, I'm trying to decide, really, to be completely honest with you. I'm just trying to decide what would be best.
No worries. Yeah, I sometimes wait till the day before to do my topic, so.
You know, I'm the type of person, if I plan it, it never works out the way I plan it, unfortunately. I don't know why that is, but it's like last week when I didn't plan anything, it turned out to be one of the better calls.
Your last call was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. I had lots of fun. Lasted a little too long, but 8 o'clock in the morning. So,
oh my, are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. It was, I was very, very tired.
Wow, yeah, I can only handle 2 hours every Sunday, and that's all I'm good for.
Well, I'd like to be able to get your book. It looks very good. Maybe you can help me do mine.
Yeah, I have a lot of different books. Oh, the Targeted Fictional Trilogy is pretty good. Yeah, you'd like that one. I like it. It's a good book.
We were talking the other night about it. I thought it would actually be a pretty good idea is to do like a Clue and Monopoly type of combo game. Call it the targeted individual game. You have it like a Clue with all the bad guys, and then the people stealing your assets and.
Actually, that would be a good idea, and you could sell it at a website to help pay for people that are targeted.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to.
It's actually a smart idea, and there are developers that do games. You may be able to do it just as a video game online.
Well, we're part of a video game already.
We are. I'm told by my telepathy that I am being sold, and people watch me.
I totally agree with that. Unfortunately, I don't have the V2K or anything, but I ran across some clues that made me think that this was definitely a video game. Mine, I think, was called Warhammer. That was kind of odd that I found the book, and then I found some receipts to like GameStop, and I was like, we don't play games. I mean, no one in the family plays any type of video games, so it was kind of odd for me to find that. And then I just, sank deeper into it, and I definitely think this is a part of a video game.
The political alliance included other public servers like Frank Church and Leo Ryan. The chat room's going hot tonight. We got 64 people in the call. I'm glad to hear from you, Sherry. Anybody else want to talk on the open mic concept tonight here at TargetedWest.com? Do you have a story? Do you have a story to share?
Yes, this is Brooke.
Hello, Brooke. How are you? I was thinking about you today, and I was wondering why I haven't heard from you, and I'm glad to hear from you. You read my mind.
All right. It's been quite intense for me, DJ Chris. I'm about to completely expose Don Dawkin and Jennifer Schwellenberg. And I want to follow through, though, with this conversation about the video being a video game, because on a credit card receipt, I had a charge that was for a gaming company out of Florida, like a very large gaming company. Could I hear more about your knowing that you're in a video game, that you're the subject of a video game? I want to understand this better, please.
Yeah, share with us how you feel you're in a video. I could share my experience. I feel like I'm in one. I know Sherry feels like she's in one. Would you want to
Well, I don't feel like it. I saw clues like, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
That's Brooke.
Brooke, I apologize. Yeah, I saw receipts like you did, and I've come to find out that nothing was a coincidence that this man did in my life. It was very strange that everything meant something. And as a matter of fact, about 6 months prior to this, we went to a Dawkins concert, and the singer, I don't even know his name, we ran into him at the restaurant, like coincidentally. And this is part of a big, huge organization. It's not just these two people you're talking about.
You ran into Don Dawkins?
Yes, I did. At the Biloxi Casino. Hard Rock, I think. It was at the Hard Rock in Biloxi.
When was this?
I believe, I have to look through my pictures, but I believe it was like 6 months, probably about a year and a half ago.
All right. So he was my neighbor. I'll give you the background. I lived on 11 acres above Santa Fe, New Mexico, in an HOA, a private gated upper class neighborhood. I had my home for 26 years. My neighbor died in the adjacent 12 acres, and Don Dawkins and his prostitute, Jennifer Schwallenberg, bought the property. And he began completely, fully stalking, harassing, surveilling, and hacking everything, my car, my home, V2K, remote neural monitoring, everything. That was 3 years ago. I was forced out of my home. Don Dawkins testified to a judge in Santa Fe County that I was stalking and harassing him. He had his prostitute, Jennifer Schwallenberg, testify to that as well. I got a false restraining order against me. It was like an act of terrorism. He did many, many other extremely violent mind control. I heard his voice in every single room right beneath him. We were adjacent neighbors. I heard his voice when I'd go out and garden, mind control, hypnotic, all night in my subliminal sleep state.
I had the privilege of being on the show when you were being interviewed, and I heard the thing, and I was going to speak up then and tell you that that I believe some of this is related in somehow because of how we were intentionally set to meet him that night. It was very strange, and anyhow, I didn't think it was a great time to bring that up, but I was able to hear your testimony, which was incredible. And then I felt like I should have said something, but I just, at that time I was pretty new to the community and I didn't want to really bring it up.
See, Brooke, we have people spying on them now for you.
Well, this is what I want to say to the entire community, and I'm speaking out to others. I'm going to go fully public with exposing this man is an absolute serial psychotic stalker harasser. He's been doing this for decades with women in particular. He's a misogynist. He's a mind-blown megalomaniac.
This is a satanistic type of thing. Yeah, it's definitely satanistic type of thing.
Absolutely. You're right there. So I need everybody, look him up. He's got a new album out. He's supposedly touring, which is a complete lie. He's an agoraphobic. He's crippled now. He can hardly walk and he can't use his right hand. All I got to tell you, this couple is so evil. I'm going to get them. Thank you.
Well, and one other thing that I wanted to say is I still have the picture of myself and him with my guy that I was with, and Dawkins was one of in my early teens, late teens. They were one of my favorite groups.
Mine too.
which is sad, but it was so odd that
we rated them. They're still the same. Yeah, I know. What are you gonna do?
I love them.
I love them.
Well, we don't like them anymore.
We don't like them anymore, Brooke.
No.
You spread the word. This man is so evil. He's a Charlie Manson. I swear to you, this is truth. My life has been at stake. I moved to another state. They're fully here. They follow me everywhere. He is obsessed with me. This is an evil, evil creature. And in the United States of America, it's not the FBI. No, it is Don Dawkins and his partner. And I want this fully exposed. Please help me.
– 'Ma'am, can I ask you a question? 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 ' about Dawkins. Have you ever, I'm trying to relate why you would be targeted to him. Have you ever been religious at all?
Extremely spiritual. I'm an international intuitive. He got into all my international Zoom spiritual groups.
Okay.
He's, so he feeds off, he's a parasite. He feeds off the high frequency energy I live my life at. I've been doing this for 35 years. I'm a 66-year-old renowned international intuitive.
Okay.
And
do you have any, since childhood, and you don't have to be specific if you don't want to, but are you affiliated with any organized religion?
Very religious, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And would you consider yourself an evangelical type in this country?
Not at all. I'm not, no.
Okay. So then my next question is, can you just briefly explain how, did you lose your house and were you asset stripped?
I was forced, no, let me tell you, I was forced to sell it, but I didn't want to. I did sell it. I'm now up in Oregon, and I've been asset stripped here. I will let you know that he is attempting to entirely, fully ruin my life in every single way. And it's impossible because people respect me. They see who I am. They trust me. I have told every business, every human being, from the moment it started with me, I knew it was him because of the things he said, the way they behaved. It was both of them. They're two psychotic. Yes.
I believe you. I do, except I wish I could explain this to you, but there's not time on the call. But it's the strategy of this. What Sherry just mentioned is being in a game. So what they're doing, and this is the part that's really hard to fathom, but you got to remember we are connected to profoundly sophisticated technologies. We all admit that, and the technologies that you are connected to have everything to do with those HARP systems we just saw, and them running these weapon systems out of underground places that are consistently and continuously running. And they're trying to achieve results that affect us. And that has to do with playing satanic mind games between people, and that's where the gaming comes in. So somebody like Dawkins would be probably a Satanist, and they're going to play them against you because you are spiritual in your genre. So they're going to absolutely make him, through synthetic telepathy and forced speech, fight with you. That's their goal. And you're going to be confused as to why. And what they're really after, and this is the hard part, is that they want to compete. And this is the game, Sherry. The game is depending on your belief, depending on your algorithm, and depending on who you are in your all kinds of religions. Everybody's as varied as their personalities. They want to craft thinking to find spiritual truth through mind wars. So that's part of what's happening to us, okay? Pardon me. So it's complicated, but it's really powerful control grid systems that do this. And inside, so think of it like this. The beliefs within the computer system are as varied as the people because we're attached to it. So minds, and that's the whole, if you look at the whistleblowers community groups and all the books they've published, and you put it all together, you'll realize it's a religious mind war, which is what the whistleblowers say. Now, it's going to, because they can't do this with us actually talking to each other to have religious wars like at a table and say, okay, this is my belief and this is your belief, so let's duke it out with proof. They're going to do it instead through us, and they're going to play us against each other. And that's going to produce algorithms and through evoked potentials produce responses, and that's why they torture us to keep this crap going. And it gets complicated, so I'll stop now because I don't want to take over the call. But everything.
No worries. I just need to end the recording. Thank you for watching this on your preferred platform. You can see me on Spotify also. If you have comments, please make them. Subscribe and like the video. Thank you for watching.